This is Lynn, Resolving the Efficiency Paradox, Chapter 1, From Resource Focus to Customer Focus. Allison's and Sarah's stories illustrate two forms of efficiency: resource efficiency and flow efficiency. The traditional and most common of these is resource efficiency. Allison's diagnostic process was carried out in a healthcare system that has been organized to use resources efficiently. Resource efficiency focuses on efficiently using the resources that add value within an organization. These are the resources that were used in both women's diagnostic process, as described in last chapter. However, Sarah's diagnostic process was carried out in a healthcare system that focuses on flow efficiency. Flow efficiency focuses on the unit that is processed in the organization. In both these cases, the unit is the patients. Allison and Sarah. This chapter examines the two contrasting diagnostic processes in order to illustrate the important differences between resource efficiency and flow efficiency. Allison experienced the resource-efficient healthcare system. Allison's healthcare system is organized around a focus on resources and the efficient use of these resources. Her diagnostic process involved numerous organizations and functions: the local doctor's surgery, the breast clinic, the X-ray department, and the cytology department, each of which focuses on the specific area of competence: general medicine, surgery, radiology, and pathology, respectively. In order for Allison to enter the healthcare system and receive a diagnosis, she needed to interact with the hospital by letter, by telephone, and in person. Allison made a total of 5 trips, 4 to the hospital and 1 to her local doctor's surgery, and had to spend many days contacting the hospital seeking care. She arranged the logistics between these different contacts herself, ensuring that she arrived on time for the appointments. While at these appointments, Allison had to take time off work, with all the costs this entailed for her and her employer. The time for the first visit to the local doctor's surgery to diagnosis was extremely long compared to the actual time she spent conducting the tests of the diagnostic process. The long waiting between visits created fear and anxiety for Allison. The different steps in the diagnostic process added value for Allison, yet these steps accounted for only a small part of the 6 weeks between her first and last visits. This point can be seen in the figure of the next page, which illustrates Allison's diagnostic process. The picture demonstrates that it was necessary 42 days from the moment she noticed an issue on her breast up to the moment she got the final diagnosis. So first, she contacted the local doctor's surgery, waited for some days, and then went for the mammography and ultrasound, waited for the result, went to the breast clinic, waited for some more time for doing a cytology, waited for some more days, and then went to the breast clinic for getting the results. So, resource efficiency, utilizing resources. Resource efficiency, the traditional form of efficiency, involves utilizing resources as much as possible. For more than 200 years, industrial development has been built around increasing the utilization of resources. A basic principle in this industrial development is to divide an incoming job into smaller tasks, which are carried out by different individuals and organizational functions. Another principle is to find economies of scale, grouping smaller tasks together so that individuals, parts of an organization, or the whole organization can perform the same task many times over increases resource efficiency. The increase in resource efficiency is often dramatic, with a marked effect on the product's unit cost. Efficient use of the resources has long been the most common way of looking at efficiency. It continues to dominate the way in which organizations in different industries and sectors are organized, controlled, and managed. Resource efficiency focuses on the resources an organization needs in order to produce a product or deliver a service, such as staff, sites, equipment, tools, and information systems. The organizations that carried out Allison's and Sarah's diagnostic process employed various physical resources, including buildings, waiting rooms, examination rooms, and X-ray machines, as well as human resources, including nurses, breast surgeons, radiologists, cytologists, nursing assistants, and administrative staff. Resource efficiency is a measurement of flow. Much a resource is utilized in relation to a specific time of period. For example, the measurements can show how much an MRI scanner is used over a 24-hour period. Like resource, MRI scanner. Time resource is utilized 6 hours a day. Time period, 24 hours, 1 day. Resource efficiency, 6 hours divided by 24 hours, it means that's the efficiency is of 25%, since it's being used only for 6 hours a day. The resource efficiency in this example is 25%, which means that the MRI scanner is used for only 25% of the actual time period. The time period could also be defined as the X-ray department's open hours, which says from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. In this case, the resource efficiency would be 6 hours of 8 hours, and then it would represent 75% of efficiency. Of course, resource efficiency is not confined to a single MRI scanner. It can also be measured at a higher abstraction level than individual machines or people. The utilization of a combination of resources can be measured, for example, for a department or an entire organization. At an organizational level, resource efficiency indicates how well an organization is utilizing all of its resources and whether the resources are adding value or standing still. From an economic perspective, it makes sense to strive for the most efficient possible use of resources. The reason for this is the opportunity cost. The following are two examples of opportunity cost. 1. If a hospital employs 10 doctors, it should make sure that they work as much as possible. Otherwise, the hospital could have employed 9 doctors and used the money saved elsewhere. 2. A hospital has invested tens of thousands of pounds on new X-ray equipment. Consequently, the equipment should be used as much as possible. Otherwise, the hospital could have spent part of the money on something else. Opportunity cost is the loss made by not utilizing resources to the fullest. If we have not utilized our resources to maximum capacity, we could have at least used the part of the money we used on that resource towards something else. There are many alternatives uses for that money, such as paying off a loan, lending money to others, and investing in securities. All organizations face opportunity costs for the money they spend on acquiring or paying for resources, which makes it important for all organizations to use resources efficiently. In order to understand the importance of resource efficiency, we need only take a look at ourselves. For example, if we buy a new television, it is natural to make sure the television is being used. We want value for money. Therefore, resource efficiency is a natural way of looking at things because it is in our nature to want value for money. Sarah experiences the flow-efficient healthcare system. The healthcare system that carried out Sarah's test consisted of one organization that focused on specific patient need, diagnosing breast cancer. The organization covered a combination of different competence areas. Within the organization, there was a breast surgeon, a radiologist, a cytologist, a secretary, an X-ray nurse, and an assistant nurse, all within a multifunctional team. Creating an organization that's organized around a specific need requires all staff to work together. As a result, Sarah only had to make one visit during which she met all the specialists in the same place. It took just a few hours of her time, meaning she had to take considerably less time of work than did Allison. Sarah received her diagnosis 500 times faster than Allison did. The figure below shows Sarah's diagnostic process, much different from Allison's. She only made her first contact, went to one stop at the breast clinic, and got the diagnosis in 2 hours. So flow efficiency, satisfying needs. We define flow efficiency as a new form of efficiency. Flow efficiency is new in that it breaks with the historical and natural focus on the efficient utilization of resources. However, flow efficiency is not an entirely new phenomenon. In fact, the antecedents of the focus on efficient flows can be traced back to the northern Italy, which was the most powerful and efficient shipbuilding enterprise in the world. The arsenal was capable of producing a fully equipped merchant or naval vessel in less than a day. Elsewhere in Europe, it could take months to produce a vessel of a similar size. Flow efficiency focuses on the unit processed in an organization. In manufacturing, the unit is a product comprised of different types of components that are processed in various stages to make the product. In services, the unit is often a customer whose needs are met through different activities. Here, we refer to this form of efficiency as flow efficiency because the focus is on the unit that flows through the organization. The flow unit. Allison and Sarah are examples of two different flow units and flowed through different healthcare systems. Flow efficiency is a measurement on how much a flow unit is processed during a specific time period. The time period is defined from the time a need is identified to the time it is satisfied. For example, flow efficiency could show how efficiently a local health center satisfies a patient's needs. So the need is the patient has a sore throat. Value adding time with doctor and other staff, like 10 minutes. Time period, time from patient's arrival to the patient leaving the health center, 30 minutes expected. So the flow efficiency is 10 minutes divided by 30 minutes, what means 33%. The flow efficiency is in the table above, like in the description I just read, which means that the patient receives value during 33% of the time she is at the health center. In this example, it is assumed that the time the patient did not spend seeing a doctor or another member of staff, that is, waiting time, does not add value. Flow efficiency is defined from the perspective of the flow unit, and the important factor is that time during which the flow unit receives value. At an organizational level, flow efficiency indicates how well an organization processes its flow units. Is the flow unit receiving value or it is standing still? Comparing the flow efficiency in two healthcare systems, Allison's and Sarah's experiences illustrate the characteristics and effects of resource efficiency and flow efficiency. The differences are most noticeable when looking at the flow efficiency in two systems. Alison's diagnostic process took 42 days, or 1,008 hours, assuming that the time involving in the various procedures was 2 hours. Flow efficiency in Alison's case was of 0.2%, very low. Like 2 hours divided by 1,008 hours, so it's 0.2%. Accordingly, only a small fraction of the entire diagnostic process actually added value for Alison. This shows that her diagnostic process was not flow efficient. Sarah received her diagnosis the same day she visited the clinic for the first time, and the time she spent in waiting was the actual time it took to analyze the tests. We can assume that Sarah had to wait for a total of 40 minutes out of the 2 hours her diagnostic process took. The remainder of the time she was seeing healthcare staff. This means that the total value adding time was 80 minutes, and therefore the flow efficiency was 67%. So the flow efficiency is equal to 80 minutes divided by 120 minutes, 2 hours. And then the equals to 67%. The table below summarizes the two examples. The most obvious difference is the time it takes for diagnosis, 42 days versus 2 hours. As much as anything, this time difference increased the amount of worry one of the two women felt. The 42 days of not knowing causes Alison's worry to escalate considerably. Even though Sarah was worried, she spent considerably less time not knowing. So in Alison's case, the organizational focus was on resources. For Sarah's, the organizational focus was on needs. The total number of contact points and their form, like several contact points and different forms for Alison, and one contact through one visit for Sarah's. For Alison, the time from first contact with healthcare system to diagnosis took 42 days, while to Sarah's, which was one flow, it took 2 hours. So the flow efficiency to Alison was of 0.2%, and to Sarah's it was 67%. Much better, huh? Which route to take? Which is best, resource efficiency or flow efficiency? As we have discussed, resource efficiency is the dominant form of efficiency. As a general rule, organizations are therefore organized around specific functions and specialized around resources. While it is important to use resources efficiently, it is also important to meet customers' needs efficiently in order to have both high utilization and satisfied customers. Resource efficiency and flow efficiency are both important. So why would anyone not aim to achieve high resource efficiency and high flow efficiency? The answer is that it is very difficult, if not impossible, to score high on both forms of efficiency. We will return to how organizations can combine high resource efficiency and high flow efficiency in the second part of the book. The best way to understand why it is difficult to score high on both forms of efficiency and how it can be done is to understand how processes work. Flow efficiency is created through processes. A process is a collection of activities that together create the path for fulfill the need of a flow unit. So that was end of chapter 1. Chapter 2, we will continue in next video, and then it relates to processes are central to flow efficiency. So bye-bye, we are on page 16. So the book it has 157 pages. So see you in next video. Bye bye.